Well, first off, I absolutely agree with Bill in your assessment that the experiment with the cloud is over. Just like any technology, it always has an adoption curve. And the first phase of cloud adoption was really driven from a technological point of view, right? Does it provide a better total cost of ownership? Can I drive IT efficiencies? And really today, that mindset has changed. Companies, as we've already heard, are really, whether it's the CIOs or the CFOs, are beginning to look at the cloud as a platform for innovation, not just doing the same old things in a different delivery model or through a different pricing model, but how can I leverage the cloud to open up entirely new engagement models with my customers, with my employees, with other partners and the like. So if you think fundamentally on how technology was designed before, past 40 years, it's really been oriented around creating a system of record. How do I drive and support hierarchical command and controls and drive compliance and automate and make information available within the enterprise? But increasingly, the cloud is unlocking a whole new area of innovation outside the enterprise, right? Being able to reach out and extend and create a new experience for your customers or your employees.
So we're moving from those systems of record to
Systems of engagement. Absolutely. And so just some examples of companies, we've already seen it in our personal lives. I mean, think about many of you probably took an Uber car here, right? That whole model, that whole new community you're able to create through the power of the cloud and being delivered to you on your mobile device wherever you are. And it's happening not just in a business to consumer context, but also in a business to business world. I mean, think about the new payment startups or crowdfunding or crowdsourcing, whether you think about Square or Kickstarter or the like. But companies are now beginning to say, okay, let's think strategically in solving some big problems. What could the cloud allow me to do that I couldn't do before? And I'll just give a couple examples. T-Mobile is a good example. I know we have another telecommunications provider here. But they're the fourth largest telecommunications provider, and they, a couple years ago, like many companies, had invested in a CRM system to create that system of record for their customer information. So they knew who their customers were, what their contracts were, when they were coming to term. But what it didn't tell them is, what was the customer's level of satisfaction? Were they likely to, did they have issues? Were they likely to defect or not renew? And they were having a bit of churn. So they said, we've got to solve this problem. They looked to the cloud to do that. So first, by adopting an entirely new cloud-based platform for their service and support organization, so that it can manage knowledge and have answers at the ready, so that whether it was a new person or whether it was someone that's been there forever, they could provide the right answer to the customer. The second thing they did was begin to leverage the cloud to reach out to these new channels where customers were having the conversation. By the time it got to the support channel, oftentimes it was too late. So they went and used social analytics tools and the like to reach out and understand when people were talking about them on Twitter and had issues, or Facebook, or wherever. And not only were they able to resolve those issues much quicker and in a very public way, they saw their first-time resolution rates went from less than 12% to now more than 94%. The renewal rates are up, and ultimately their overall customer satisfaction is up by creating an entirely new model for social service. So interestingly enough, I, as you know, had the opportunity, this is my second go around on a cloud transformation in a software company. And there's really three phases you go through. And I think this is corollary to what enterprises need to go through. Right? When you think about transitioning to the cloud, first there's as a cloud provider, first there's the technological transformation, where you need to re-architect to a cloud environment and make it accessible in a multi-tenant environment. The second is the financial transformation. So moving from the days where everyone celebrated when the deal was done to now a more ratable recognition that arguably better aligns your objectives with those of the customer, because you're delivering a service, like a utility, like was said before. When they turn the power on, they want it to work, and if it doesn't, they're not going to renew. And then ultimately, the biggest challenge is this, to your point, the operational and cultural challenge, right? How does the cloud fundamentally change your customer relationship? Everything from how you engage, right? No longer does the customer want to go through a traditional sales funnel. They actually want to be able to guide the buying process. They want to, they're more informed than ever before. They want to be able to do things like self-demos and trials. That's entirely different. And most importantly, what happens after post-sale? Right? There's no shelfware in the cloud. Either someone uses it or they're no longer a customer. And so, fundamentally at SAP and Ariba, where I was before that, more than half of that organization is focused on driving customer adoption and success. And I think that's the major shift in helping companies realize, how do I leverage the cloud to achieve these innovations?